Hello everyone, welcome to our Let's Play series of Disco Elysium. This is Colonel RPG as usual, and I'm very happy that it chose to join me today, because we're doing a field autopsy, and we're badass cops, because we're good at this. Kim is good at this. I'm also good. Logic was telling me nice things. Oh, I didn't even notice that it was a medium success over here. Or a success in the first place when Logic told us about the case number. That's right, we're writing down all the things, and we were just going through the details of. I also I tried to skip past the details, but we're writing the details down. And number 7, sex. I say out loud, and Kunessa is over there looking, and she says, "Fucky, fucky!" The little monster exclaims energetically. "Male," says Kim Kitsuragi. "Pig's gonna have sex?" I could write fucky fucky. Then I will. Naively, the lieutenant does not double-check your notes. Hey, he's not being... Don't tell me that. He hasn't been double-checking my notes all the while. Why are you telling me this? I know why you're telling me this. You should have told... Yeah, anyway. El Bigamist. Mistako. My god. Whatever. It's also, it wouldn't be Big O, because Big O is not... The O is not that's not a Spanish. I'm imitating the I'm imitating what this is imitating basically. In Spanish this would be bigo, I think. Although some Mexican might be different. They could say bigo a little bit more. I know there's some Spanish speakers, not in Spain specifically, although maybe in Spain, in Galicia and stuff like that, that do go for a little bit of a closed oo sound for the O's at the end. And the O at the end sounding big O is a very English sound, so it doesn't exist in Spanish. It's just the result of English speakers reading Spanish and not knowing how to pronounce it. So El Bigamistaco is how this is written. Read. How this is read in Spanish. Lieutenant. Oh, that's a horrific necktie saying that. Shut up, you're really horrific. Go and pronounce things properly. Date of death. We're still going with March 4th, 51. And I'm going to write it down. 4/3/51. That's how it is in Portugal. This day, month, year. I don't like it. I really don't like it. I like I think it's the British that do the year, month, day. And what I'm thinking is this most of Europe that does this? Or is it just like Portugal and Spain and a few other countries that maybe do the day for, like, basically inversed? Because I know in the US these two get inversed because it's literally how, like, it's a translation from March the 4th, 51. So it would be 3/4/51. That's the reason why it's like that, if you're wondering. Because if you don't know that's how you read the date, then you wouldn't be able to guess why it's inverted in American English, or whatever. It's not American English specifically. It's just a agreement or whatever. There's a standard. It's a standard. That's what it is. What else? Asks Kim. He looks over your shoulder. Number 9. Body identified by is not applicable. Oh, that's what NA is. Not available. Not applicable. I told you there something. Maybe somebody commented already. I told you it sometimes means something else. It did. It does mean something else in here. Not applicable. What were the things that were not applicable? Date of birth. No, in these cases, well, maybe. I don't know. Body identified by is not applicable. Number 10, I don't know why it's not applicable, but whatever. Number 10, case number is the same as the coroner's case. KK 5705030811. That's not the number. You need to be careful with this sort of stuff. You put this stuff into forms and whatnot. It's a dot, not a dash. If this is computerized, I mean, hopefully the system is better than forcing you to actually put the dashes in. Otherwise, you won't find it. The hanged man listens, motionless, with a cargo belt still around his neck. Only one box remains. Number 11, evidence of treatment. None, says Kim. I don't even know what evidence of treatment is. What is this? The duck that we're treating? That's not even how treatment is. Like, is it the patient that's being treated? That's what treatment is in English. A duck isn't treated to be put in the oven. That's what I meant, by the way. You can treat a duck for so that he doesn't die. You treat it. None, at least not after the initial examination. Yeah, I don't know what that means. A challenging success for our Inland Empire. A strange word, treatment. It is! It is really weird. What the heck is that? I'm not sure. Didn't the footprints look like he was carried over? I'm gonna ask that and pretend that I know what treatment means here. They'd have, Kim says, they'd have to have incapacitated and carried him over. This man was more than a match for untrained dock workers. He places his hand on the dead man's chest as if in preparation. Uneasy composure, success. Your central nervous system recognizes this gesture. It's the stations of the breath, ecclesiastic, religious in nature. Ecclesiastic specifically means of Christian origin, or rather, of the Christian church. I think. I'm pretty sure so because... No, actually, it might not. No, it doesn't, because ecclesia, even though it has a very close tie to Christianism, ecclesia, which is the original Latin word for... Actually, is that what church stands for? Is that just the translation and not the... Where does the word church comes from? Because I know church is specifically Christian, but in Portuguese the word igreja, which comes from ecclesia, and it's basically ecclesiastic, it's all that it means. That's what you use to describe a church. We didn't never say anything that's anywhere close to the word church. But then if you have a synagogue, we have synagoga, and then you have a mosque. You have... Yeah, mosque. That would be the Portuguese word. But those wouldn't be ecclesias. Those would be temples. And I'm wondering what the Latin word is for temple, because if Latin has a word for temple rather than ecclesia, then this has to be tied to Christianism. Not that I'm reading into it, mind you. I'm just mentioning it because it's easy for, well, at least it's easy for me living in a Christian majority country and being immersed, as we all are in, like, at least American culture, but not just American culture, of course, in the culture of my own country, but American culture being as well Christian majority, and a lot of, it's just that's where it comes from. We just get used to using some words in like a general term, and where they're not. It's like, you just need to use the words that are appropriate, and this probably does not mean Christian. We haven't seen anything like that. This setting does a very good job in that, actually. It doesn't necessarily hide religion from, the religious thoughts of people, although we haven't seen them. But, it doesn't necessarily transmit an a-religious... Is that the correct word? Because an atheist world is not necessarily an a-religious world. And then certainly it's more agnostic, probably is the closest one to what I'm trying to say. Anyway, it doesn't... It's a setting that doesn't transmit influence from real world religions, which is something that, for example, Fallout 1 and 2 does, even though in Fallout 1 specifically there's the Church of the... No, there's a Church of the Apocalypse? No, there's the word church. The word church is used in Fallout 1, but it is in a pre-war building, so it works for that. But Fallout 1 and 2, they have all made up religions, which is something I like a lot, because it allows you to have some distance from when you are analyzing the religious thoughts of people. Because if you're gonna put real life religions, or I should say just say real religions in your game or in your fantasy, then it's gonna be tricky. And even if you put, like, in, for example, Fallout 2 has what's the word, an analogy. It's not an analogy, but like a stand-in for a real-world religion. Well, it's more of a cult than anything else, but for Scientology, there's these, I don't remember what they're called, but they're basically like a commentary, a direct commentary. And even then, it feels like the game is just, it's weird, because it's just bemoaning a point over and over again. And you're like, yes, I get it. Scientology is a thing, and people are, yeah, absolutely. But anyway, I don't think we're going to get real-world religions. Game, prove me wrong. I'll let you prove me wrong on that. A holdout from pre-DeLorean burial rites. See, this is what I'm talking about. It's all made up, and I love it. It takes him 2 seconds to perform, and then... Oh, actually, wait a minute. This does mean Stations of the Breath. Isn't stations one of the words that's used to, for mantras? I'm not really sure. Doesn't a mantra have stations? It's like the subdivision of a mantra is a station? I'm not sure. Christianism does have some mantras, but they don't use the word mantra. I'm pretty sure they do use the word station for a couple of things, but I don't know. There's other religions that use mantras a lot. Even Abrahamic religions use mantras. Other Abrahamic religions. Somewhere in Jamrock North, a small woodshed behind Rosenkrantz Row, Lieutenant Nick Feuerbach puts his hand to the chest of a small corpse, no larger than a monkey. It's raining outside. Light drizzle. This is a flashback. This is me seeing somebody else. Lieutenant Nick was somebody else. There is darkness in the shed. Elsewhere yet, an obese female sits in a wicker chair, her silhouette ball-like against the window, outside the Grand Coron. The day is turning dim for Sergeant Mac Torson. Oh wait, we read about Mac Torson. That's the guy in the book, I think. Hand extended, he approaches to make sure she is dead, more than anything else. And so all across Jamrock, Coal City, GRIH, 42 deceased persons found today, 42 stations of breath. Is that what it is? I think it might be what it is. Religious in nature. This is definitely religious, but it's so weird. We should start the postmortem, says Kim. Okay, I'm gonna turn the page. The corpse cannot feel Kim's hand on his chest. It no longer meaningfully interacts with its surroundings. A thicket of boxes and lists on red copier paper tries to answer why. Yeah, it's the thing that I have in my hand. So we have the summary of external examination, internal examination, and then we have the description of injuries. Tell me something then, man. Shoot, Looney Rooney. What's happening? What do you mean? Never mind. Okay, enough. I talked to him already. External examination, summary. Clothes, he begins. The deceased wears armored boots and white briefs. The make of the briefs is Babrodine, I think. Let's see. He turns the body onto its side and checks the underwear, or to check the underwear label. See, it's happening, says Kuno. Babrodine, yes. Inexpensive, size M, color white. The disappointment is palpable in Kunes's eyes, I suppose. The red-haired thing was expecting something more lurid. Yeah, she wanted lace or something in the... I know what she wanted. Anyway, write it down. The boots are ceramic, vitreous enamel. Oh, by the way, regarding the ceramic, did I mention already that I was wrong? I named the episode where I rambled about ceramic. I looked it up after, and apparently there's like a specific type of ceramic. But it's not just ceramic. It says the thing. And I named the episode after that when I was complaining about ceramic. Anyway, they're fused to his skin from blood flowing downward post-mortem. Removal of the boots is left for processing. It would be clever of you to omit the boots altogether, sire, says our drama. If you are to keep them for yourself, as you ought to, you have deserved them more than anyone else. Well, when am I gonna get them? Patience, says Drama. After the autopsy, before the body is taken away, there will be a window of opportunity after the lieutenant has gone to sleep. I hope this has only helped you, my liege, says our Drama again. Well, screw it. Write the boots down. Tattoos, he stands up, and then feet planted on either side of the body. The upper torso is covered in a single continuous tattoo, resembling a national pattern. It reaches from the right shoulder to the heart. The ink is blue and white. The assistant has a color photograph of the markings to be added to the case file as document A1. The photo is taken on the scene using a Trigat Mini. The deceased has a cargo lashing belt around his neck, tied with a hangman's knot, color yellow, length 3 meters. There is a buckle on the other end. Kim produces a measuring tape. Well-nourished, athletically built, measuring 180 meters, or 1.8 meters? 1 meter and 80 centimeters. How would I read that in English? Actually, 1 meter and 80. Maybe. No, that's my... In Portuguese, that would be like that. How are you to say that in English? Because that's like, I'm 7'9". Well, I'm very tall if I say that. If I'm 7 feet 9. I'm like 5'9", for example. I'm not 5'9", I'm 5'8". Anyway, I say I'm 5'9", and everybody knows this wouldn't be 180. Actually, it would be. That sounds about right. Yeah. Measuring 180, I suppose. Generally consistent with age, about 50, -- over there. Because you also omit the unit over here. You say 50. Usually when we talk about age, we say, oh, how old are you? I'm 17. And you know exactly how old that person is. 17 years of age. But you could be talking about decades or months. Actually, 17 decades is tricky. And also 17 months asking that person. Anyway, the point is we omit some measures. And I think we would omit that as well. But anyway, preservation is good. Ambient temperature below freezing. Body hair is light brown. Distribution is consistent with age. He kneels in to get a better look. The deceased had male pattern baldness. Hair is combed back. Short. Yeah. Touch the corpse's hair before moving on. I can touch the corpse's hair? You know what? Let's do that. The hair under your latex fingers feels cold to the touch. Wet. Stroke his hair. The stench is suffocating. Strands of dark brown hair start sticking to the latex of the glove, like thread off a ragdoll's head. There must be a brilliantine. Ooh! I've never seen that word in English. I bet it is a word in English. I'm not sure I pronounced it properly. I'm not going to try it again. In there. He's combed his hair back with oil. So, as far as I know, brilliantine, did I pronounce it properly? Is basically hair gel. But it's not air gel. It's like different. And it was used back in the 70s, as far as I am led to believe. I've never used it ever, and I've seen photographs of people with it, and they look ridiculous, and they should be ashamed for the rest of their lives, and that's just how it is. So if you're listening and you use I'm sure you do not use this today, but if you ever used it, then you should be ashamed, and you should tell me in the comments as well. I'm gonna write it down. Short, light brown. Oh yeah, I'm gonna write down and adding the brilliantine. Lividity is consistent with hanging. The head is congested. Contusions. That's how it's written. I've never heard it in English. I know what it means. It's basically bruises. Concussions is the different thing, but it must be an English word. Contusions are present on the head, chest, and thighs, consistent with stones thrown post-mortem. Low velocity. Actually, it wouldn't bruise because it's post-mortem, so it doesn't bruise. Because bruising requires blood vessel breakage. That's what bruising does. It's just basically the capillary blood vessels. Well, not necessarily only the capillary blood vessels. You can have bruises. I've had bruises, although they do manifest differently. I've had like if you ever you're working with a hammer and you hit your finger and it gets black. That's an internal bleeding. That's sometimes it's just a normal bruise would just be capillary blood vessel bursting. But if you like sometimes you can even see it spread. That's just a proper vein in there that popped up, and it hurts like hell because you hit your finger with a hammer. So yeah, but it wouldn't be bruised. Lividity is consistent. Let's see. Yep. Fucking low velocity chink chonk. Oh wait, he's calling him chink chonk. Oh no, that's bad, because that is, as far as that's bad. That's bad. That's real world slurs, racial slurs specifically, and he's not Asian, because there's no Asia in this world, and so I don't know where he said it before. I didn't catch it. I'm pretty sure he said it before. Yeah, that shouldn't be in this setting. The kid explodes. You think Kuno doesn't know what you're talking about? Velocity was fucking max, says Kuno. Talking shit about Kuno's velocity. The lieutenant pays no heed, though. In addition, there are bite marks on the face, scalp, and chest, consistent with predation. That's a word as well, predation. Write down. Ligature mark. The lieutenant produces a small folding knife. With the other hand folding on the belt, he starts cutting into the polyester. What is a ligature mark, actually? I'm not sure what predation is. Bite marks? Cats have bitten at him? I would think not. He was hanging. Birds at most. But birds don't leave bite marks. Birds don't have teeth. Unless they're that one bird somewhere that has... Because there's one bird or two. There's 1 or 2 species of birds that do have teeth, and they're weird, and I don't know the name. The stench is horrid. After a while, it's obvious the material cannot be cut. The steel wiring... Oh, yeah, he's trying to... the ligature... He's trying to cut the cable because of the steel wiring. Yeah, he's conceding. Breathless. There's too much of it. We need to remove the belt so we can get to the ligature mark. I have a wire cutter. We can cut that. Yeah, you got just the right tool for that. The chain cutters. Wait. Pull out the rubber gripped cutters. Oh, it's different. We're forced to do this. Oh yeah, I'm prepared, and I'm gonna pet the chain cutters. Healing Memoral. The hanged man lets out a joyous little bubble of rot from his nose. Or from his nose. My god. I love it. You prepared the sentence with joyous and then rot. Immediately, joyous little bubble of rot. Lovely. That's proper writing. This is... I mean, the game is very well written, generally. But, like, this is my beach, as it were. This is where I really like... But what I write amateurly is all about this sort of fun thing. Not necessarily, no, like sort of this is written on purpose to be a sort of a joke. But the timing of writing itself is a very fun thing to do, and it's a very fun thing to read as well. And that's lovely. That's like, good thing we got these chain cutters, and I'm gonna pull the rubber gripped cutters out. Always good to think ahead. Now. Kim points to the rope, squeezing the dead man's neck. We need to cut the belt so to see the ligature mark below. Carefully, with as much precision as you can. See? My pig is gonna fuck his head off! No, he ain't, see? Or no, he ain't, and Kunese looks blasé. Blasé. Blasé? Blasé. That's French, although it's also English. Your pig's a boring fuck! And I can cut the belt. It's physical instrument. Can I not wear something different for this? I'm not gonna entertain them for the moment. I'm gonna look for a good spot to cut. The belt is equally tight around the whole circumference of his neck, swelling over the edges like white bread rising from the east. Oh, because he's white. I was gonna say any type of bread will, is good for that. And I made it better, though. Oh, our interfacing was a success on that. Oh, that's lovely. That's a mixed check. Oh, that's great. I love it. Man, you can really tell this game is done by people who love tabletop role-playing. The knot is the weak spot. The chain cutters fit in there. Steady now, like a flower arranger. 2 cuts, like a florist. 2 cuts and it should come loose. Yep, cut the belt. After some deliberation, you sink the cutters into the knot, tying the belt together. You squeeze the rubber handles together. Sweat forming on your brow. Snap! The knot is slashed. Another cut and the belt falls apart like a flower bouquet, revealing the dead man's neck and the dark red ligature mark around it. The lieutenant kneels closer, running his finger along the dark red groove until there's a gap. He says, the rope rises to a point. Yeah, he says that, leaving a gap in the ligature mark. The suspension point is in the back of the neck. Hemorrhaging is that's a word to write. Hemorrhaging is observed on the skin above and below the ligature mark. The mark is well preserved, consistent with a drop of 1 to 1.5 meters. Also, if he's bleeding around the thing, that means that he did get hanged while he was alive. That might not be the cause of death, but at least we have ruled out him being hanged after death. Chest is intact. He presses down. Normal contour. Abdomen is protuberant. Pelvis intact. Genitalia. He pulls the man's underpants down. Now it's gonna happen, see? Says Kuno. I fucking knew it, she says. Our empathy says, this is clearly what they have been waiting for. Ever since the autopsy began, the lieutenant is trying to make it as boring as possible. Genitalia is male and unremarkable. No evidence of injury, says Kim. I'm gonna inspect the genitals. We're a proper police officer. We can do this. The dead man's... How do you say that in English? Penis? Penny? How do I not know what to say that word? Penish. That's how you say it in Portuguese. And I do realize it sounds like penis. Or actually, no, pennies. Pennies. Yeah. It sounds like pennies. So yeah, the sense of British people are dicks. That's just a thing that I have to live with every time I talk about pounds and pennies. Anyway, the pennies... That's not how it's pronounced. How the heck? The dick. The dead man's dick. There we go. See? Is average-sized. Congested from the downward collection of blood. The testicles are uneven in length. Oh, we're actually measuring length. I mean, we probably can tell. Probably can't unless you're gonna get a feel on it. Hanging underneath the... He's not standing up. Anyway, the genitalia is greenish. Marbling is present under the crotch. I have no idea what that even means, marbling. I'm gonna write it down and move on. Back is symmetrical and intact, says Kim. He struggles to turn the corpse on his side. Upper and lower extremities are intact, but asymmetrical. That's the arms. He's talking about the arms are asymmetrical. There are combat injuries on the right hand, thigh, and hip. Oh, that's what symmetrical means. He doesn't mean that one arm is longer than the other. In addition, I see smaller residual scars, too numerous to count, covering about 30% of his skin. Last item, hands. And Kim takes the man's right hand on his and inspects it, and then moves on to the other hand. His flesh is icy cold. Or is cold and icy, as I pick up the hand. Pleased to meet you, says the hangman. Where are you from, and what's your name? What the? No, wait. That's actually saying it. My name is... That's not saying it. That's thinking it. This game. I'm only fucking with you, says the hangman. I know where you're from Cappadocia, and your name is Il Kobo. What can I do for you, Il Kobo, the Cappadocia? It's good to hold your hand. Did you like it when I stroked your hair? I did, Kobo, I did, says the hanged man. I still didn't say that. I'm thinking it in my head. Reminded me of when I was just a small boy, before this happened to my face and my body. You did me a kindness there. We should do this more often. Be close like this, I mean. Hands are clean, says Kim, and he concludes that. The dead man's fingers slip from your hand, cold and sausage-like. No signs of injury from struggling. Were we expecting any? I was, Kim says. Maybe I'm just not seeing them. Honestly, the stench is making it hard for me to think at the moment. That's why I said we should just skip the bits. Working so close to the fumes coming from the corpse must be hard. You realize suddenly that the lieutenant has been barely keeping it together these past two items. Well, let's see if he keeps it together more. But not right now. Right now, I'm Colonel RPG, and I'm going to look up how to say the word that I couldn't pronounce just now, the pennies one. Pennies? That doesn't sound right. It's like... Anyway. I'll look it up. Google should help me out. But for right now, I'm Colonel RPG, and this has been Disco Elysium. I really hope you've enjoyed it. And if you did, go ahead and leave a comment. Like the video if you want to see the next episode come out sooner rather than later. But above all, thank you so much for watching. And I hope I'll see you next episode. Bye-bye.